I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to Financial Lovemaking, where we talk about love, life, money, and everything in between. I'm here with my buddy, my partner, my co-host, the entertainment editor at Ebony magazine, Miss S. Tia Brown. How you doing today, Tia?
I'm doing well. Nice to chat with you.
And I got your title wrong. I said entertainment editor.
It's okay.
Is that what is your official title?
Entertainment director.
Man, and I'm egg on my face, egg, because I director versus editor, I should know the difference. But she's the kahuna, y'all. So just in case you're wondering what that means, it translates to kahuna. And you were telling me about the next cover that you guys have at Ebony that features Magic and Cookie Johnson. What's this cover all about? Now, why are they on the cover this month?
A quick screenshot. I was super excited to hear that we had the Johnsons on the cover, and I think that they make a great topic for financial lovemaking because the couple has worked together collaboratively, emotionally, and financially, and had a very long marriage, more than 2 decades. Now, we all know that, Magic Johnson was a superstar basketball player, and then he announced that he had HIV in either the late 80s or early 90s, and a lot of people thought that was it for him. But he made a great comeback with his basketball career and then took things to a completely different level by building this huge brand with theaters, Starbucks, Rent-A-Center, so many different types of businesses. And some people love the businesses that were brought into the community and some people question the others. But the bottom line is that he created jobs. He changed the face of a lot of urban areas with his theaters and his Starbucks. And he did it with his wife. And this story really talks about how they work together as a team. A lot of times we don't get to hear the woman's perspective about, supporting and working with someone who has big dreams. And Cookie opens up about having been in this relationship since they were in college, really learning how to support him when he needed support and advocate for herself when she needed support. So, I just think that they're a couple to admire. The person who wrote the story is Amy Elisa Keith. I didn't get to interview them personally, but Amy did a great job of really getting some nuggets from them. One of the things that Cookie talked about that I liked from a woman's perspective is, once Magic decided that he wanted to really build an empire, how she had to, kind of step it up with spending time with the kids alone. They didn't get to do couples time that much, and she put some things on the back burner for herself. And then she started to advocate for herself a little bit more as the kids got older and the business got more stabilized, and pursued some of her own business dreams. And she has a denim line that's coming out that's been received pretty well, and she has some other ventures. So I think financially and emotionally, the couple just has really gone back and forth really well.
Yeah, I think that this cover kind of connotates, what I think should be the obvious by now, which is that Cookie and Magic, they are one of the premier Black Power couples in America, right up there with Will and Jada, Jay-Z and Beyonce, Michelle and Barack, right? And what's really interesting is that with Cookie, you really see this person that is so admirable in so many ways, just for everything that she's endured. Starting with the diagnosis many years ago. And, now then when you flip the script and you look at Magic, and again, Magic's, people have I think a legitimate reason to criticize some of the businesses that Magic has supported, the Rent-A-Center type stuff. I'd love to talk to him about that. However, my overwhelming opinion of Magic as a businessman and as a human being is that he's just remarkable. I mean, if you go back, I remember when Magic was diagnosed, and I remember, I was in my college dorm. I remember my girlfriend was crying, and I remember my friends, we were all around the TV like, oh my God, what's going on? And everybody thought he was going to die, and he went on Arsenio Hall show right afterward. And he thanked his corporate sponsors, for sticking by him. And I remember even as a college student thinking, I think he's thanking them to try to put them on blast so that they won't drop him. But they still dropped him the next day. And so he was really abandoned by everybody. I mean, other players on the court some guys didn't want to play with him. Corporate sponsors didn't want to be around him. Everybody thought he was going to die. And I remember Magic saying, I'm a fighter, and I'm going to fight this. I'm going to win this fight. And I remember thinking, that's so optimistic of him. That's so noble that he's going to fight this thing that's definitely going to kill him. I just remember thinking that he was just being optimistic. And here you are, 23 years later. And I'll say this and I'll shut up about it. But I remember Chris Rock summed it up pretty well when Chris said, many years ago, he said, you're the only person I know who's HIV positive where you can come out on stage, and that is like the fact that you have HIV is like the third or fourth thing that people even mention about you. There's so many other things that he's done, and he's lived such a remarkable life. And even if you take away the fact that he was one of the greatest players in NBA history, he's just been such a model of excellence and perseverance. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to see.
Absolutely. And we want people to pick up the issue to kind of find out more about the couple, how they work together. One of the things that I liked when I read it was that Magic really pays a lot of compliments and gives his wife so much credit for not only just being his support system, but for believing in his dreams. Sometimes, and people are like, oh, he was already rich. But there's something very different than using, a physical talent versus, a mental talent and saying, I want to build something from the ground up. We know tons of players who go bankrupt, trying to build businesses. And his wife was really a team player with that. So it's just really, like you said, a great model on how to get to the next level as a couple. And again, I don't think the lesson here is that you have to be a multimillionaire. This, whether you make $40,000, $100,000, or $200,000 in your household, working collaboratively, having a plan, and just being supportive and loving towards each other. So the issue's on stands now. Make sure to pick it up. And thanks for listening. If you have any comments about Magic and Cookie, be sure to write in.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm totally going to blow that outro for you, because I just want to say, in closing with Magic, I have to back your point up, and I know this so discoordinates everything that we were planning to do, but I just had to say that, I think that Cookie's decision to stand by Magic and support him, it's more valuable than people think, and I think that people can't underestimate what it took for Magic to be successful off the court. Remember, there are a lot of basketball players who are filthy rich when they walk away from the court and then end up broke 4 or 5 years later. In fact, the majority of them end up in bankruptcy. So for Magic to have actually increased his wealth, the way Shaquille O'Neal has also increased his wealth, and the way Michael Jordan has also increased his wealth,
Absolutely.
I think that's a whole different type of animal, a whole different kind of competitor. That's where you are a baller on the court, you're brilliant, you're a maestro on the court, but then you're also a baller and a maestro off the court. You're a brilliant man in everything you do, not just in sports. So I had to give Magic that prop, before we walked out. And I so didn't mean to end your shoot off your beautiful outro. I mean, you did a great job with that. So I'll let you actually.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, but I'll let
well,
you.
So if we're adding things, one more thing I'll add before we say goodbye is that this couple speaks tremendously to the value of loyalty. No, it's true. It's true because, we talk about the difference between fidelity and loyalty a lot in financial lovemaking. So, sometimes we put all of our eggs into whether or not someone was sexually responsible or sexually faithful to us. Sexual responsibility is a big deal. So I'm not trying to put that out there. But there's also something to be said for loyalty in the long run of a marriage, right? And really understanding the strength of a partnership, of forgiveness, and of really making a sacrifice to say, even if I made a mistake, I am going to show you 110% how much I am sorry and how much I am able and willing to put you first. And that's not something that I'm just even speaking about Cookie exhibiting. This is something that Magic has done as well, really shown that his loyalty, it was to the family and to building the family legacy to surpass, like what you said before, was obviously going to be his legacy at the time. And that would be the HIV situation. Like you said, Chris Rock mentioned, people don't think about that anymore because Magic made a commitment to being so much more than that diagnosis. So, I absolutely agree with you in terms of the family being role models in many different ways. What do you want to say?
I want to ask you this question, and in case people want to know, I'm out of town in a hotel using hotel Wi-Fi. That's why sometimes Tia freezes a little bit, but people can bear with us. They're used to us just doing our thing.
Technical glitches.
Yeah, every now, yeah, there are little glitches, but glitches exist in life, so we got to get used to it, right? But you know what? I want to ask you this, and I would love for people who are watching to answer this too. There's another parallel universe, another reality that could have existed in this relationship, right? The parallel universe is one in which Cookie did not stay with Magic and endure the next 23 years, where they didn't sort of fight through these things and have a son, who's actually openly gay that they both support, and all these businesses that they've built together, and sort of created this model marriage where they're on the cover of Ebony magazine 23 years later. The other reality is one. There you go. There's the cover. People have to go buy that. There's the other reality where Cookie did what a lot of women say that she should have done, which is, back in 1991. I cannot believe you did this. You were sleeping around. You were being irresponsible. You caught this disease. I'm not going to jeopardize my health. I can't be with you. I'm gone. I'm going to just leave. And so I'm wondering, I wonder how people feel. And you don't even have to answer this question, but I'd love for other people to answer. Did Cookie make the right decision? Right? I mean, if you've got these two separate paths, because you think about this, a lot of people in their marriages on the littlest things, especially, and then infidelity is a big thing. Infidelity with the disease is an even bigger thing, right? So there are a lot of people who would say, yeah, absolutely, girl, if they were giving Cookie advice 23 years ago and Cookie was like, what should I do? A lot of women would have been like, girl, you don't need to stick it out with this dude. There's other man, you can just go. You need to just go. You know what I mean? But she chose to stick it out. She chose to stay around. And you see both examples, right? You see the examples of marriages where I've seen women and men go through absolute hell, but at the end of the road, they can say, we've been together 40 years, we built this together, look at our family, look at our empire, look at whatever we have, we did this together. And then you got other people who say, well, you know what, I wasn't going to do all that. But yet, let's say that person ends up single for the next 40 years, and then they can't really say they built much in terms of family and stuff like that. Which is the better outcome? Which would have been the better outcome for Cookie? I mean, do you have any thoughts on that?
This is one of those hypotheticals where there's so many variables that come into play. But one thing that I think is a constant is, do you believe in your partner's ability to reform and to exhibit loyalty? And that's why I said the loyalty is a big thing, because people make mistakes, people grow. People fall and then they grow and then they get better. And really, it's an individual decision to decide whether or not they have faith in that person's choice. So we don't know what happened behind closed doors in this relationship since that day in 1991. We don't know, whether there were other missteps or things were gravy, but we do know that they were able to believe in each other to some extent and work collaboratively. So my suggestion to people and my thoughts on this topic is, it's really up to you to sit down and think whether or not your partner is exhibiting the signs of change, growth, and loyalty. And that's the only thing that's right. People will always have the best advice for you when you're in, right? People always tell you hypothetically what they would do in this situation. But in most situations when people are like, oh, I would leave, or I would take this, if that was really the person that they wanted to have as a life partner, that's not the decision that they would make, right? We know that in real life, most people don't take the advice that they give. That's like, relationships have so many other variables than that one hurt. You don't judge a person based on one decision they made. So it's a very delicate balance, because you don't want to be someone's fool continuously, but you do understand that people do foolish things. So, I'd love to hear what the listeners think about this topic. What value does forgiveness have in a relationship? Are you able to move forward after tremendous betrayal? And can there be life after that?
Absolutely. Well, I think you've said it all, and I said even more than what I should have said, because I totally blew your outro, and I feel so bad about that. But then that gives you a right to do that to me one day. But I thought that was an important.
We're the Wonder Twins. We can.
There you go. Wonder Twins, activate. Shape of a black man.
Do whatever, right? You don't remember that from the...
Oh my God, the Wonder Twins are so cool. I love the Wonder Twins. I still want to be one. So I'll say that, yeah, I agree with you 100% that in your relationships, ultimately, there are lots of quote-unquote advisors who will tell you to do one thing that's exactly the opposite of what they would do in that same situation. And ultimately, you have to make your own decision based on what you know about that situation. And then you also have to maximize your happiness in the short term and the long term. You can't do one or the other, or you're going to end up unhappy. So that's I think we got our 2 cents in there, or maybe our 10 cents. It was great talking to you again today, Tia.
Have a great day and enjoy vacay.
All right, everybody, take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.